I woke up to silence. Not the peaceful kind of silence, the one that makes you think the world is still asleep. This was the heavy, empty silence of being forgotten. My birthday. 18. I blinked at the ceiling, hoping my parents were planning something behind the scenes. Maybe a card. A happy birthday, even. Nothing. Morning, Alex. My dad called from the kitchen. He sounded distracted. Morning. I replied, my voice flat. No balloons. No cake. Not even a hint that anyone remembered me. I walked to the kitchen, half expecting my sister to jump out screaming. Surprise. But Lily wasn't there. She probably slept in after her big night yesterday. You're up early, my mom said, barely looking at me. She handed me a plate with a piece of cold lasagna. Breakfast. I stared at it. Thanks. You're welcome, she said. Then she turned back to her phone. I chewed slowly, trying to swallow the growing lump in my throat. Finally, I couldn't hold it. Where's Lily? Out, my dad mumbled. School stuff. Classes. Friends. Whatever. I knew exactly where she was. Her friends, her party, her perfect life that I wasn't invited to. I swallowed hard, forcing my voice to stay steady. Did anyone remember my birthday? My mom glanced up for half a second. You're not exactly our little princess, Alex. Be grateful for what you have. I froze. Be grateful for what? For leftovers. Lily's party leftovers, she said, with a shrug like it was the most normal thing in the world. I laughed bitterly, but no sound came out. My heart thudded painfully against my ribs. Leftovers. Yes, my dad said, still looking at the newspaper. You should be thankful. She had a great party. You got the scraps. Life isn't fair. I felt my stomach twist. Scraps. I whispered to myself. My own parents, telling me to be grateful for scraps. I wanted to scream, punch something, anything. I didn't. I just sat there, staring at the cold lasagna that felt like a punishment. Lily's laughter floated down from outside, carried through the open window. I clenched my fists under the table. She had her world. Bright, shiny, celebrated. And I, invisible, forgotten. I pushed the plate away. I can't believe this, I muttered. You can believe it, my mom said sharply. Now eat, or you'll be late for school. Late. Of course. Everything about me was always background noise. Even my birthday wasn't mine. I stormed to my room, slamming the door. I could hear her friends outside, giggling and shouting, probably about her dress, her hair, her perfect party. Perfect. I flopped on the bed, staring at the ceiling again. Why am I even here? I whispered. Hours passed. I didn't move. Every laugh, every cheer from her circle of friends cut me deeper. My dad's words replayed in my head. Life isn't fair. That wasn't advice. That was a verdict. Finally, I got up. I had to see her. Not for a confrontation, yet. I just needed to watch. See her in her element, basking in attention while I got nothing. I peeked through the window. There she was, smiling, laughing. A perfect girl in a perfect world. My chest tightened. Why does she get everything? I whispered. Why does she get to be happy? I noticed how easily people gathered around her, how her parents laughed at her jokes, her friends hanging on every word. And me. I was the shadow, the one who ate leftovers, smiled at scraps, and stayed invisible. I sat down, letting the bitterness settle. But somewhere under the anger, something else stirred. A thought, quiet at first. Maybe I shouldn't just accept this. Maybe there's a way to change things. I clenched my fists, teeth grinding. I'm not going to stay invisible forever, I muttered. Not her. Not anyone. The laughter from outside continued, bright and careless, and I felt something harden in me. I didn't know how yet, but I knew one thing. I wouldn't forget this. I wouldn't forgive it easily. The first seeds of resentment took root that day, and I decided quietly that my 18th birthday would not be my end. It would be the beginning. I found Lily in her room, sprawled on the bed with her phone in hand, scrolling through messages and laughing. Hey, I said, trying to sound casual. She didn't even look up. Hey, Alex. What's up? I stepped closer, my stomach twisting. About yesterday, my birthday. You had a party, Anne. She cut me off with a grin. Oh, come on, Alex. You're overreacting. It's just a party. Overreacting. I repeated, voice rising. You had a huge celebration, and my parents, they didn't even say happy birthday to me. I got leftovers, Lily. Leftovers. She shrugged, tossing her hair back. Life isn't fair, Alex. You know that. I felt heat rise in my chest. That's not the point. They ignored me. You. I stopped. I wanted to scream. I wanted to punch something. You don't even care. I care, she said, smirking. I'm sorry you feel left out, but seriously, it's not my fault. You're making a big deal out of nothing. I stared at her, disbelief and fury mixing together. Nothing. Nothing. I spent all night alone, thinking maybe someone would remember me, and you got everything. Everything. She laughed, a light, careless sound. Wow. Drama alert. Maybe next time you should plan your own party, birthday boy. I left her room, slamming the door. My hands shook. Every word, every laugh, pierced deeper than I expected. And it didn't stop there. By evening, my phone was buzzing nonstop. Pictures from Lily's party had made it online. Her friends had tagged her, and the captions, they weren't kind. Poor Alex, sitting at home with lasagna. Who knew someone could ruin a birthday without even trying? #LeftoversKing. I read each comment and felt my chest tighten. My face burned, my stomach churned. The people I thought I could trust, the friends I shared jokes with, the classmates who sometimes smiled at me, were laughing at me now. I tossed my phone onto the bed. Why does this happen to me? I muttered. Why do I always get humiliated? Then my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened the door to see Ethan, my best friend since middle school, holding a bag of chips and a calm smile. Yo man, he said. You look like hell. Thanks for stating the obvious, I muttered, stepping aside. He sat on my bed, eyes scanning my face. What happened? Let me guess. Lily. I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and anger. She laughed at me, told me I'm overreacting. And then, her friends, everyone online, it's like I'm invisible or worse. Ethan frowned. You're not invisible, Alex. You're just being treated unfairly. I know that. I snapped. But it hurts. It hurts so much. I feel like nobody cares about me. He put a hand on my shoulder. Hey, listen. I get it. I really do. But losing your mind won't help. Document it. Take screenshots, save messages. Write down what's unfair. Trust me, you'll need it later. Later? I asked, confused. Later, he said firmly. When you need to show people what's really going on, or when you need to prove it to yourself. Don't let them get in your head. Not yet. I let out a long breath. I feel betrayed, Ethan. My own sister, my parents, my peers. Everyone is just laughing at me. They're not worth your sanity, he said quietly. But that feeling, that's valid. Don't ignore it. Use it. Just don't let it destroy you. I nodded, biting my lip. I don't know how to. I don't know how to not feel furious. You don't have to suppress it, he said. You just need control. Channel it. Think. Plan. Not revenge, yet. Just awareness. Every insult, every dismissal, write it down. Remember it. That's power, Alex. That's all you've got right now. I looked at him, feeling a small spark of clarity amidst the storm in my chest. So document it. Keep track. Use it somehow. Exactly, Ethan said with a grin. And I'll help you. You're not alone in this, Alex. Not ever. I sank back into my chair, staring at the ceiling. The laughter online, the mockery, it still stung, but Ethan's words grounded me. I was furious, yes. Hurt, absolutely. But maybe I could turn it into something. Something I couldn't see yet, but maybe someday. Thanks, man, I said quietly. No problem, he said. Now want some chips? I forced a laugh. Yeah, why not? As we sat there, I realized one thing. Betrayal wasn't just from Lily anymore. It was from everyone who laughed along. And I wasn't going to forget it. Not ever. I walked into the cafeteria and froze. There she was, Lily, laughing with her friends, holding a slice of cake like the queen of the world. Every eye seemed glued to her, every laugh aimed at her. And then, I tripped over a chair. Right in front of everyone. Whoa! Smooth Alex, someone shouted. Laughter erupted around me. I scrambled to my feet, cheeks burning. Shut up, I muttered, trying to grab my tray. Oh, come on, lighten up. It's your birthday, right? Lily's voice rang out, teasing but sugary sweet. Wait, did you even get cake? Not funny, I said, my voice trembling. I don't need your pity. Her friends giggled. Poor Alex, #LeftoversKing strikes again. I clenched my fists, trying to control the anger clawing up my throat. My stomach felt like it had been punched. You know what? I said louder this time. I'm done laughing at myself. What? Lily blinked, surprised. I'm done being invisible, done being your joke. I snapped. Heads turned. Gasps followed. You're overreacting, she said quickly, as if repeating it enough would make it true. Am I? I shot back. You throw parties, get everything, and I get ignored. Scraps. Leftovers. And you expect me to just smile? No more. She frowned, suddenly serious. Alex. No, don't Alex me, I said, pacing a little. I've spent years watching you get everything handed to you while I barely exist in my own family. It's not fair. Her friends exchanged looks. I could see the whispers spreading. I didn't care. My words were for me now. You're insane, Lily said finally, her voice low. You can't just. I can. I interrupted. I can and I will. But not like you think. Not with screaming or yelling. I've had enough of that. What do you mean? She asked warily. I leaned closer. I mean, I'm going to make sure people see the truth. About you. About how spoiled and entitled you are. Subtly. Carefully. And I won't stop until people notice. Her lips parted, a laugh threatening, but she caught herself. You wouldn't dare. I would, I said firmly. And I will. You think your life is perfect, Lily, but I've been watching. I see the cracks. Everyone has cracks. Her friends tittered nervously, glancing between us. He's losing it, one whispered. I ignored them. My mind was racing. Every slight, every humiliation, every laugh, I would remember. Document it. Strategize. And eventually expose it all. Alex, wait, Lily said, stepping forward. But I turned on my heel and walked away, feeling the weight lift slightly from my chest. Later, in the library, I texted Ethan. It's happening. I snapped. I can't stay quiet anymore. I need a plan. His reply was almost instant. Good. Calm down, though. Think smart. Document everything. Don't rush. This is about control, not anger. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Control. That word felt heavy but powerful. I thought about all the ways I had been humiliated, at home, at school, online, and realized I had the advantage of being underestimated. People didn't take me seriously. They still don't. That would be my weapon. I imagined small moves first. Subtle things. Sharing evidence of her lies to a teacher, exposing little hypocrisies to classmates, highlighting moments when her arrogance showed. Not cruelty, not vengeance that would make me hate myself, just truth. I muttered to myself, a smile creeping into my chest. I can do this. I can take control. I don't have to wait for karma. But as the initial thrill passed, guilt surfaced. Was I wrong to think this way? To plan behind her back? My hands shook slightly, but I rationalized it. I'm not doing it to hurt her unnecessarily. I'm protecting myself. I'm surviving. I deserve respect. The bell rang, dragging me back to the present. People spilled into the halls, chatting, laughing, oblivious to the storm brewing in me. I followed them quietly, taking mental notes of alliances, weaknesses, patterns. Every interaction, every glance, data. Later, Ethan caught up with me outside. You're serious, he said, arms crossed. I am, I said. No more ignoring it. No more pretending I'm okay with scraps. I'm ready to be careful, calculated. Strategic. Good, he said, smirking. Just don't let it consume you. Remember who you are, Alex. Don't become what you hate. I won't, I said. But even as I said it, a part of me admitted. I wanted her to feel the sting I've felt. Not cruelly, but enough that she understood. That I understood. That I mattered. By the time I got home, I was exhausted but alive in a way I hadn't been before. Betrayal had sparked something in me. Something sharp, cold, deliberate. I sat at my desk, opening a new notebook. Step 1, I whispered. Watch. Document. Plan. And never stop. The fire inside me burned quietly but fiercely. I wasn't the boy who accepted leftovers anymore. I was someone who would be seen. Someone who would not be ignored. And Lily was about to find out just how careful I could be. I first noticed Sophie in the library, sitting alone in a corner with a pile of books taller than her head. I was grabbing my notebook, still buzzing from yesterday's cafeteria explosion, when she looked up. You look tense, she said quietly, tilting her head. Yeah, I muttered, trying not to sound suspicious. You know, life stuff. She smiled faintly. Life stuff, huh? That's vague enough to be interesting. Want to talk about it? I hesitated. Talking to anyone about Lily felt dangerous. But something about her, maybe the way her eyes were cautious but open, made me nod. Fine, I said. But don't tell anyone. Promise, she said, leaning closer. I'm Sophie, by the way. Sophie Bennett. Alex, I replied. Alex Carter. She tilted her head again, as if measuring me. Carter, rings a bell. Are you that guy from the cafeteria yesterday? I froze. Yeah, that guy. You snapped, she said softly, a little smile tugging at her lips. I think it was about time someone did. Time someone did what? I asked. Snapped, she said. Stop pretending everything's fine when it isn't. I know that feeling. I frowned. You do. She nodded. Family stuff. Ignored. Overlooked. Life handing all the perks to someone else. I've been there. I blinked. Really? Yeah, she said. My parents, they act like I don't exist. I've learned to notice things, gather proof, and survive. Strategize. My pulse quickened. Strategize. Exactly, she said, leaning back. I'm not saying revenge, but don't stay a victim. Observe, note, plan. Little steps. Quiet, careful. That's how you survive when the world forgets about you. I swallowed hard, feeling a spark of hope. So, you get it? I do, she said. And I can help if you want. You're not the only one. I blinked. You want to help me? She shrugged. Why not? I like smart people. People who think. People who notice things. A grin threatened my lips. Okay, maybe we can be allies. Exactly, she said. Allies. Partners. From that moment, we started noticing patterns. Lily wasn't perfect. She stumbled with her friends, lied to teachers about minor stuff, exaggerated stories to stay in the spotlight. Little cracks appeared, tiny things she didn't even realize I was watching. Look at this, I whispered one day, showing Sophie a screenshot of Lily claiming she volunteered at the shelter when I knew she didn't. Perfect, she said. This is gold. Subtle, believable, but it shows she's not what she seems. Right, I said, heart racing. I can use this later. Not now. Wait for the right moment. Sophie nodded. Patience is power. Document everything. Observe reactions. Notice alliances. People's true colors show eventually. True, I said, scribbling notes into my notebook. I just never thought I'd find someone who gets it, who sees it like I do. She smiled. Most people don't. Most people laugh along, like her friends did with you. But we're smarter than that. We see. And seeing was the first step. Later that week, Lily had a small argument with her so-called best friend, Emily, over a dress choice for an event. I watched carefully. Emily rolled her eyes and whispered things I didn't catch entirely, but the tension was there. Lily's arrogance didn't always work. Even her friends noticed when she overstepped. She's not as untouchable as she thinks, I whispered to Sophie later. She's never untouchable, Sophie replied. Everyone has weaknesses. You just have to find them. That night, I sat in my room, reviewing every interaction, every post, every conversation. The anger from yesterday had turned into focus, methodical and precise. I realized I was no longer the boy who merely endured humiliation. I was learning the art of careful observation, strategy, and patience. I glanced at Sophie's text. Keep tracking. Wait for the perfect moment. Don't rush. Power is quiet. I smiled, a small but fierce spark lighting inside me. She wasn't just a friend. She was an ally. And with her help, maybe, finally, I could balance the scales. By the time I closed my notebook, I felt something I hadn't in a long time: control. I couldn't change the past, couldn't erase the humiliation, but I could shape the future. And that future involved showing the truth about Lily. Carefully, slowly, irrefutably. I whispered to myself, determination burning in my chest. This isn't just survival. This is my move, my choice, my plan. And for the first time in a long while, I felt powerful. I saw Lily at school that morning, sitting at her usual table with her friends, her smile just a little too tight. She didn't know I had screenshots, recordings, and notes from the past weeks. Morning, Alex, she said lightly, like nothing had changed. Morning, I replied, calm, measured. Her friend, Emily, nudged her. She's quiet today, Lily. Maybe she's thinking. Thinking? About what? Lily asked, frowning. I cleared my throat. About what people say behind their backs, I said, letting my voice carry just enough for them to hear. Sometimes the truth isn't as invisible as you think. Lily blinked. What are you talking about? I smiled faintly. Oh, just little things I've noticed. Stories you told about helping at the shelter. You might want to check your facts. Her jaw tightened. I did help. I know, I interrupted, showing my phone with screenshots of her posts and messages. Or at least the story you told people. Facts matter. Her friends gasped. Lily, one whispered. She started, then stopped, her mouth closing like she'd lost her words. I leaned back slightly. It's not mean-spirited. Just observation. Lily stared at me, furious, embarrassed. Her friends whispered more, glances darting between her and me. Why would you do this? She finally asked, voice shaky. Because people should know the truth, I said. Not just believe whatever makes someone popular. She slumped back in her chair, silent. I could see the cracks forming. Small but clear. She wasn't untouchable anymore. Later, Ethan caught up with me by the lockers. You did it, he said quietly. I saw. That was bold. I know, I said, trying to sound unaffected. And it worked. She's questioning herself. Her friends are confused. It's satisfying. Careful, Ethan warned. Satisfaction can turn into obsession. Don't lose yourself, Alex. This isn't just about her. It's about you too. I know, I said quickly. I feel guilty. A little. But I had to do it. I can't stay passive anymore. That's the thing, he said. You're already in this. Just make sure it doesn't consume you. Revenge is tricky. You might think you're controlling it, but emotions can take over. I nodded, watching Lily from across the hall. She laughed nervously at something Emily said, a little too high-pitched, a little forced. Her confident posture wavered. Her entitlement wasn't gone, but it was cracking. She's not perfect, I whispered to Ethan. No one is, he said. Remember that. I took a deep breath. Every small victory gave me power, but the guilt lingered. Should I stop, forgive and move on, or push a little further until the lesson is learned? By lunchtime, whispers had spread. People weren't outright mean to Lily, but the mockery was subtle now. I noticed heads turn when she spoke, slight doubts in their eyes. My heart tightened at first. Was I being cruel? Then relaxed slightly. This wasn't cruelty. It was truth finally being seen. She's human, I told myself. She has flaws, like everyone else. Sophie found me later at our usual table. You're doing it carefully, she said. Not reckless. Good. But remember, Alex, small victories are enough for now. Don't overstep. I know, I said. But it feels powerful. Seeing her falter just a little. Feeling like the one nobody notices can have control after all. Sophie nodded. Exactly. Control. Not revenge. And don't forget, control can be letting go sometimes. Don't let guilt freeze you or let anger burn you out. I chewed my lip. It's hard, I admitted. I want her to feel what I felt, but I don't want to hate myself for it. That's normal, Sophie said gently. Just keep the focus on truth, not malice. Your aim isn't to hurt her, it's to balance the scales. That's all. Her words stayed with me through the afternoon. Each class, each interaction, I kept noticing little lies, little exaggerations, moments of arrogance. Carefully, subtly, I collected evidence, my notebook filling with observations. After school, I found Lily alone in the hallway, trying to talk to someone. Her words stumbled. I walked past slowly, letting her catch a glimpse of me with my notebook open, scribbling quietly. She froze for a second, eyes widening, then looked away. I didn't say anything. No words were needed. The message was clear. I was no longer invisible. I was watching, calculating, ready. When I got home, my parents noticed the shift. My mom asked, Alex, you seem different. Happier? I guess, I said, shrugging. Maybe. My dad nodded but didn't press. They still didn't see the full picture, and I wasn't ready to show them. Not yet. This was my space, my plan. Later, I sat with Ethan and Sophie online, reviewing notes. She's vulnerable, I said. Not broken, not yet. But she's human. Good, Sophie said. You're learning. Balance observation with restraint. You're not just taking control, Alex. You're understanding it. I smiled faintly, a mixture of satisfaction and guilt coiling in my chest. I feel different, I admitted. Anger is still there, but I'm stronger. And that's what matters, Ethan said. You control it. Not her. Not the past. You. By the end of the day, I realized something important. Karma didn't need to be loud or public. Small, deliberate actions, carefully executed, could shift power without losing yourself. I closed my notebook, whispering to myself, this is just the beginning. Small steps, careful observation, and finally balance. I sat at my desk, staring at the small piece of cake I had kept from my birthday months ago. Its frosting had hardened, but I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. It felt symbolic, like a reminder of where I started and how far I'd come. The knock at my door made me jump. "Come in," I said. Lily stepped inside, eyes downcast, hands fidgeting. "Alex, can we talk?" I gestured to the chair across from me. "Sit." I wanted to apologize again," she said quietly. "Not just for the stuff at school, but for everything before. For being unaware. For making you feel invisible." I studied her for a moment. Her sincerity was clear, no smirk, no defensiveness. "You hurt me a lot, Lily," I said, voice soft but firm. "Years of being ignored, watching you get everything while I got scraps. That's not something that just disappears." "I know," she whispered. I'm trying to understand it now. I really am." I nodded slowly. That's all I needed. Not excuses. Not pity. Just acknowledgement. She looked relieved, as if a weight had lifted. "I'm glad you said that. I want to do better. Not just for me, but for us, for our family. I can't promise I'll forget," I said. "But I can promise I'm willing to try, moving forward. On my own terms." She smiled faintly, a small, hopeful smile. "I can respect that." Later, I met Ethan at our usual cafe. "So, how did it go?" he asked, sliding a coffee across the table. "Better than expected," I said, taking a sip. "Lily, she's genuine. Apologetic. I feel lighter. Like a burden has been lifted." Ethan nodded. "You've come a long way, Alex. You didn't just fight for respect from her or your parents. You fought for yourself." "I think I finally understand that," I said. "All those months of humiliation, anger, plotting, it wasn't just about revenge. It was about realizing my own worth, seeing that I deserved to be heard, to be noticed. And I finally am on my terms." "Good," he said. "You're in control now. That's what matters." Sophie joined us shortly after, her presence warm and steady. "I saw you talking to Lily," she said softly. "Looks like some bridges are being rebuilt." "Yes," I said, smiling slightly. "And it feels right. I don't need to tear her down anymore. I don't need to prove anything. I just need to live my life. On my own terms." Sophie's eyes sparkled. "That's the real victory, Alex. Not revenge. Not validation from others. Your freedom. Your choice." I nodded, feeling the weight of her words sink in. "It's strange," I admitted. "For so long, I thought I wanted to make people see me by exposing the truth, proving myself through conflict. But now, I see that the real strength is in letting go, in choosing to rise above." Ethan smiled, shaking his head. "Look at you, philosopher now. I'm proud of you, man." I laughed quietly. "Thanks. I think I've finally realized I don't need their approval to feel worthy. Not Lily's, not my parents. I'm enough." That evening, I went back to my room, holding that small, hardened piece of cake. I touched it gently, smiling at the memory of that miserable day, the humiliation, the tears. But now, it represented survival, resilience, and transformation. "I kept you for a reason," I whispered to the cake. "You remind me of who I was and who I've become." Lily peeked into my room, hesitating. "Alex, do you want to hang out tomorrow? No drama. Just talk." I considered it. I could still feel the sting of past pain, but I also felt a calm resolve. "Sure," I said, a small smile forming. "Let's talk. On new terms." She grinned faintly. "Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it." I watched her leave and felt a strange peace settle over me. I didn't need to control her anymore, or anyone else. I had control over myself, my choices, and my future. That was enough. Later that night, I sent a quick text to Sophie and Ethan, feeling complete, ready for whatever comes next. "Thanks for being there." A few moments later, Sophie replied, "Always, Alex. Always." Ethan added, "You did it. You're free. Now go live." I leaned back in my chair, staring out the window at the city lights. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in my life, I didn't feel invisible. I felt capable, resilient, and ready to write my own story. And as I held that small piece of cake, a symbol of both pain and perseverance, I smiled. The journey had been harsh, but it had shaped me into someone stronger, someone who could survive, someone who could rise. The past could never be erased, but it didn't define me anymore. I did. I whispered one final time, to no one but myself, "This is my life. My choices. My strength. And I'm ready." I sat at my desk, staring at the small piece of cake I had kept from my birthday months ago. Its frosting had hardened, but I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. It felt symbolic, like a reminder of where I started and how far I'd come. The knock at my door made me jump. "Come in," I said. Lily stepped inside, eyes downcast, hands fidgeting. "Alex, can we talk?" I gestured to the chair across from me. "Sit." I wanted to apologize again," she said quietly. "Not just for the stuff at school, but for everything before. For being unaware. For making you feel invisible." I studied her for a moment. Her sincerity was clear, no smirk, no defensiveness. "You hurt me a lot, Lily," I said, voice soft but firm. "Years of being ignored, watching you get everything while I got scraps. That's not something that just disappears." "I know," she whispered. I'm trying to understand it now. I really am." I nodded slowly. That's all I needed. Not excuses. Not pity. Just acknowledgement. She looked relieved, as if a weight had lifted. "I'm glad you said that. I want to do better. Not just for me, but for us, for our family. I can't promise I'll forget," I said. "But I can promise I'm willing to try moving forward. On my own terms." She smiled faintly, a small, hopeful smile. "I can respect that." Later, I met Ethan at our usual cafe. "So, how did it go?" he asked, sliding a coffee across the table. "Better than expected," I said, taking a sip. "Lily, she's genuine. Apologetic. I feel lighter. Like a burden has been lifted." Ethan nodded. "You've come a long way, Alex. You didn't just fight for respect from her or your parents. You fought for yourself." "I think I finally understand that," I said. "All those months of humiliation, anger, plotting, it wasn't just about revenge. It was about realizing my own worth, seeing that I deserved to be heard, to be noticed. And I finally am on my terms." "Good," he said. "You're in control now. That's what matters." Sophie joined us shortly after, her presence warm and steady. "I saw you talking to Lily," she said softly. "Looks like some bridges are being rebuilt." "Yes," I said, smiling slightly. "And it feels right. I don't need to tear her down anymore. I don't need to prove anything. I just need to live my life. On my own terms." Sophie's eyes sparkled. "That's the real victory, Alex. Not revenge. Not validation from others. Your freedom. Your choice." I nodded, feeling the weight of her words sink in. "It's strange," I admitted. "For so long, I thought I wanted to make people see me by exposing the truth, proving myself through conflict. But now, I see that the real strength is in letting go, in choosing to rise above." Ethan smiled, shaking his head. "Look at you, philosopher now. I'm proud of you, man." I laughed quietly. "Thanks. I think I've finally realized I don't need their approval to feel worthy. Not Lily's, not my parents. I'm enough." That evening, I went back to my room, holding that small, hardened piece of cake. I touched it gently, smiling at the memory of that miserable day, the humiliation, the tears. But now, it represented survival, resilience, and transformation. "I kept you for a reason," I whispered to the cake. "You remind me of who I was and who I've become." Lily peeked into my room, hesitating. "Alex, do you want to hang out tomorrow? No drama. Just talk." I considered it. I could still feel the sting of past pain, but I also felt a calm resolve. "Sure," I said, a small smile forming. "Let's talk. On new terms." She grinned faintly. "Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it." I watched her leave and felt a strange peace settle over me. I didn't need to control her anymore, or anyone else. I had control over myself, my choices, and my future. That was enough. Later that night, I sent a quick text to Sophie and Ethan, feeling complete, ready for whatever comes next. "Thanks for being there." A few moments later, Sophie replied, "Always, Alex. Always." Ethan added, "You did it. You're free. Now go live." I leaned back in my chair, staring out the window at the city lights. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in my life, I didn't feel invisible. I felt capable, resilient, and ready to write my own story. And as I held that small piece of cake, a symbol of both pain and perseverance, I smiled. The journey had been harsh, but it had shaped me into someone stronger, someone who could survive, someone who could rise. The past could never be erased, but it didn't define me anymore. I did. I whispered one final time, to no one but myself. This is my life, my choices, my strength, and I'm ready.